welcome to Midnight Slumber. I am your host, Zach Miller. Join me as we take a journey through the alternate realities that take place after midnight. This week, our adventurer finds themselves with a new pet. However, this pet has much more to it than just scary looks. Enjoy the story, The School of Magic. Chatter from my classmates fills the courtyard as we near the end of our lunch break. My friends and I are chowing down on burgers and fries as a bright green snake slithers out from the bush next to our wooden table. The snake slides off one of the branches and lands on my plate as I am next to this bush. I am frozen in fear as the snake makes its way up my left hand and wraps itself around my wrist. My friends are all excited for me. One of the girls sitting with us even lets out an "Aww." My best friend bumps my shoulder and tells me congrats, that I now officially have a pet that chose me. I feel honored about that, but another part of me is unsure if it's true. I'm frightened that this snake will bite me, as its head is shaped like an arrow, indicating it's venomous. My friends can now see the uneasiness in me. My best friend chimes in. "Don't worry, we all have a pet that chose us, and some of ours came from the wild. Mine is a robin that flew up and decided to perch itself on my shoulder. Right now, it's flying around that red apple tree over there." I look over to my right and see that his bird is flying with some other birds. Only a few students have a bird or a reptile, and half the students still don't have pets. I hadn't realized their pets had chosen them, mostly because they were normal domesticated animals, such as cats and dogs. I know I'm the only student with a snake for a pet. As the snake tightens around my wrist, continuing to make itself comfortable, it turns its head to look at me. Its bright blue and black eyes lock with mine, and I know it's hungry. What should I feed it?" I ask my friends. They all chime in at once, but one of them hands me a ball of leaves, grass, and fruit. Before I can say no, the snake strikes out and eats the ball. I'm surprised because I've never known a snake to eat grass. The girl sitting across from me says it'll be good for him. I'm not sure how, but I trust her. The bell rings, and we all spring up from our seats in a rush to get to our next class. I throw my book bag over my shoulder and carefully put my arms in, avoiding hurting the snake. As I hurry to my class, the snake keeps its head focused on where to go next, as if he knows what I am thinking. My classroom is just around the corner, and as we turn, I see our teacher just stepping in. I'm not late, but usually he's already in there before anyone else gets to class. As I walk in, the seats fill up except for a few. I sit down in the middle of this old room. The walls and floors are made of brick and cement, as this room is our science lab. Everything is old, but protected by enchantments. A few students pile in as he starts to pass out a packet of papers. As I get mine, I notice my snake is changing from its bright green color to brown. Even its body is shrinking. It coughs up some dirt, and I raise my hand, getting our professor's attention. He comes over, and I show him my pet. Without hesitation, he grabs a white porcelain bowl and puts some strange liquid in it. The liquid is a metallic green and yellow. As he brings it to me and sets it down on my desk, he tells me to let the snake rest in there, that this concoction will help restore it to its full health. It coughs again, and I hesitate to put it in the bowl, worried this might not help it. The snake slowly slithers off my hand, curls, and rests in the liquid. It looks so pathetic now, as it went from being something about a foot long to only a few inches. I put the bowl at the top of my desk to keep an eye on him while my teacher speaks. Our teacher tells us to look over the spells for today, that we are going to brew up something fun. The packet he has given us is just 2 sheets of paper. As I look over the packet, I notice weird writings and symbols appearing. One I recognize as the symbol of death. I tap my friend next to me on the shoulder and show him the packet. "Do you see this?" I ask. He chuckles and says,
See what? The assignment? Yeah, I got one too, man.
"No, the symbol's right here and here," I say. He stares at the page and shakes his head no. I look back at the page, and I can still see them. I ask another classmate about it, and they don't see them either. I flip the page to see what's next, and more symbols are forming on the back. I flip it back to the front, and now there is an entirely new recipe. I flip it to the back, and it has also changed. I continue to flip back and forth until my friend grabs my arm to stop me. I tell him sorry, but not why I was flipping it so much. Our teacher chimes in and begins giving us instructions on the first spell, which my packet is now changing back to what was originally there. It still has the death and destruction symbols marked on this page, and warnings not to perform this spell. Even modifying it could cause things to be worse. I raise my hand, which gets his attention. I tell him of the markings on my page, lifting it and showing him. He stares with the same stare that my friend gave me and says,
I'm sorry, but I don't see anything. Mr. Miller, please try to refrain from being the class clown for the day.
Everyone in the class laughs, and I slowly lower my paper. He continues speaking as everyone gets started. My head drops in embarrassment, and I look over at my snake, hoping he is doing better. I gasp as the bowl is gone along with my pet. I frantically look under the desk and around at everyone else, and it's nowhere that I can see. As the students add the last ingredient, the whole building begins to shake. My friend looks over at me, realizing I wasn't going crazy. I stand, and as I do, the right back wall falls off, revealing a massive canyon forming. Some class members fall out, down into the opening. I rush towards the broken wall, catching one of my friends by their hand, and pull them back up. Below, 2 students are trapped on a ledge. The others have been swallowed by the rushing river down below. I jump down, landing on the stairwell still attached to the mountainside. I try to grab one of their hands, but the mountain shakes again. Both students fall into the rushing water. I get knocked from the railing onto a rock in the middle of this river. I look back at the school, and half of it is gone. My friends watch in horror as they see me alone on this rock. As I anticipate my demise, a loud sound and rush of wind blows past me. Off in the distance, I see my pet appear in the sky. It's massive. The head of my snake is now as wide as this canyon. Its eyes lock with mine as it pushes its way through the water. It's here to save me, as this is the end of the world for everyone, but me. Thank you for listening to tonight's episode. Please leave a comment and check out our social media on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We would love to hear your thoughts on tonight's episode. I'm your host, Zach Miller, and thanks for listening. Have a good midnight slumber.